What's up, everybody? It's Evan, the main motorcycle addict, and today we're going to talk about AMA Supercross. I'm super pumped. The season starting January 8th. I can't remember being this excited for a season to start in a while. I'm just over the moon. There's so many changes, so many riders switching teams and switching bikes, and all kinds of potential this season. I think it's going to be one of the best seasons we've had in quite a long time. So, I thought I'd sit down and give you my predictions. I'm going to go through my top 10, who I think is going to be the top 10, and I'm going to break it down bottom 4, middle 3, top 3, and then after each section I'll kind of break down each guy a little bit more in depth. Alright, let's get into the video. Alright, so starting at number 10, we've got Malcom Stewart. Switching over to Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. He's been on a new bike every year, like almost his entire 450 career, I think, or a different team at least. So he's pretty pumped that he just got a 2-year contract. He doesn't have to worry about moving next year. I think that's going to be pretty good for him. I'm actually hoping that he does a lot better than 10th. I personally like the guy. I think he's got a great attitude. I met him at Gillette Stadium the year that he won the 250 East Supercross Championship, and he's just a likable guy. I don't know how you could not like him. He's the type of guy that like smiles with his whole body. When he smiles at you, he just exudes joy, and he's just a personable guy. So I'm really rooting for him. I hope he does better than 10th. I just think switching teams again, new bike that he hasn't been on. He's got to get used to Alden Baker and the Baker Factory training program. So I don't know how it's going to go this year. I think next year will be a big step up for him, being on the same team for 2 years. But right now, I've got him at 10th. And like I said, I hope he does better than that. Coming in at number 9, I've got Jason Anderson. Obviously, he won the championship in 2018, the year after Dungey retired, on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. He moved over to Kawasaki this year, Monster Energy Kawasaki with Cinzarillo, and it's the first time he's been on a new team in his entire pro career. He spent his whole pro career with Rockstar Energy, so that's going to be a big change for him. This is another guy that I'm rooting for. I think he has potential to be a lot better than this. I just don't know if he's going to put in the effort to get a lot better than this. You know what I mean? He's certainly a talented guy. He's got plenty of speed. But with a new team, a new bike, completely changed, his entire program around him, basically. So is he going to be able to put in the work and get up to speed with that new team and that new equipment quickly? That's the thing that I don't know. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that or not. If he does, like I said, he's got plenty of talent. I think if he can gel with the bike, gel with the team, keep his head down, focus, do his work off the track, training, practicing, testing, all that stuff. If he can stick to his program, I think he's plenty capable of being up in the front. We haven't seen that for the last several years, so I don't see any reason to predict anything other than that. So that's why I have him at 9th. All right, coming in at number 8. This one's gonna bite me. People are gonna freak out about this one a little bit. I've got Chase Sexton at number 8. I know. Everybody's going, "Are you kidding me, dude? 8? He's gonna be like contending for the championship." He might be. This one could bite me. This one could bite me pretty bad. I'll admit that fully. Certainly a talented guy. Great technique on the bike. He's fast. I don't trust him over 17 rounds, I don't know what it is about him. I feel like he's a bit overrated. His first 250 championship, Austin Fortner was the better rider. I mean, there is no two ways about it. If Austin Fortner didn't get hurt, he wins the title, hands down. He was pretty much spanking Chase Sexton. Then his second title, he had a bit more confidence. He did ride better for his second title, but who was he really competing against? And I know that sounds really harsh to Shane McElrath. McElrath gave him a pretty good fight, and I think he tried as hard as he could, but McElrath isn't really a guy that's proven he can stay consistently great over a whole season either. So I don't see any evidence from Chase Sexton that he can keep it together for 17 rounds in different conditions, mentally, physically, and speed-wise, be in the hunt all season long. I think he makes a mistake at some point. I think he probably puts it down, and hopefully he doesn't, but odds are when you put it down in Supercross, you got pretty good odds of getting hurt. So that's why I have him at number 8. Like I said, everybody's probably going to kill me for this. I know a lot of people have him ranked way higher than that going into the season. But hey, it's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. So there you go. All right, coming in at number 7, I've got Marvin Muscan. I didn't know what to do with Muscan, honestly. I didn't know where to put him. He's on a Supercross only contract this year, so he's, you could argue that that's going to make him a little bit more focused and a little bit more dedicated to just the Supercross series. So maybe that'll put him in a better position. I know he was gaining momentum at the end of last season, and he did get a win in the I believe it was the penultimate round. It wasn't the last round. Yeah, I think it was the second to the last round. Last year he got a win. So maybe that confidence is back. Maybe he's going to be back to his old form. I wish him the best. He seems like another really nice guy. I've never met him, but he seems like a good guy. But I don't know where to put him. We haven't really seen much from him for a little while since he hurt his knee. And, I wasn't really sure. So hopefully he proves me wrong. Hopefully he does better than 7th. But there's so many good guys this year. I don't know where else to put him. So those are the bottom 4, if you will, 7th through 10th. They're all what if guys. If Anderson gels with the bike and puts in the work, testing, working with the team, gets comfortable with everybody there, and can ride to his potential. I mean, he could conceivably compete for the championship. Certainly be competing for wins. Absolutely. Same story with Mookie. If he takes Alden Baker's training seriously and puts in the work and puts in the time testing with the bike, I mean, I could see him. I don't know if I could really see him winning the championship. I think that would be a bit of a stretch, but I could definitely see him contending for wins. I hope he gets a couple podiums this year for sure. And I could see him pulling off a win if the conditions are right. He gets a good start. He's gelling with the track. If there's 1 or 2 big long whoop sections, the guy is phenomenal in the whoops. So that should definitely help him out. If all those things line up for him, I could see him getting a win. I think it's a bit premature with this team, with all the change, with everything going on, to put him much further than maybe 3rd or 4th in the championship. I think that would be best case scenario for him. But if those things don't happen, he could do a lot worse than that too. So like I said, these are all kind of what if guys. Sexton, if he keeps it on 2 wheels and stays mentally strong all through the season and keeps competing, he could easily be competing for the championship. He's probably the biggest what if out of this bunch of guys. I think it's very plausible that he could be there at the end of the season. Certainly top 5 in points, but like I said, I feel like he pushes too hard. I think he's still too young, maturity-wise. I don't think he's grown up enough yet, and he's going to push it too hard and put it on the ground and take himself out of a few rounds. So that's why I have him down where I have him. And Muscan, like I said, he's probably the toughest guy in my whole top 10 list to figure out where he's going to be. I have no idea where to put him. So I just kind of slotted him in there, and we'll see what happens. All right, so that brings us to our middle 3. We got 6, 5, and 4. At number 6, I've got Justin Barcia. Another guy that I don't really know what to expect from. He could do better than that for sure. We've seen him win. I think being the second year on this new gas bike and team is going to be good for him. That's probably going to help him out a bit. But he's another guy that I don't see week in and week out for the last several years being up there in the front. He has a couple of really good runs and a couple of fairly bad runs, the lower end of the top 10. And he's been pretty good on points the last few years, 4th, 5th. But it's just those bad nights that kind of take him out of contention when you look at the season as a whole. If he can keep it together for the whole 17 rounds, he could be in contention for the title. But we haven't really seen that his entire 450 career. So I don't think we're going to see it now. So yeah, that's where I've got Barcia. All right, number 5, cracking into the top 5. I've got my boy AC, Adam Cinzarillo. I've been cheering for him since he broke into the scene. I didn't really follow him as an amateur that much. I don't follow amateur motocross all that much. I know he won pretty much everything that you could win as an amateur, but I was pretty pumped on him when he turned pro. Just lit the world on fire, and then unfortunately got hurt. Got healthy, got hurt, got healthy, got hurt. And that's pretty much been the story of his career so far. With that being said, he certainly has the speed. I mean, I don't think anybody questions his raw talent and speed. And I don't really have any evidence historically to back this up, but I just feel in my gut like he's going to mature this year, like he's going to kind of get it together and figure it out and understand when he can push, when he can't push, when it's worth pushing and when it's not worth pushing. You get the whole shot and you get a 5-second lead. It's probably not worth pushing 100% and risking a tip over. Maybe back it down to 99% until someone starts catching you. I think he's kind of learned those things over the years, and he's going to be able to do a bit better this season. He's another guy that could go all the way, has the talent to go all the way. We just haven't seen him mentally put it together for 17 rounds, keep it on 2 wheels, keep himself healthy. Going back to his 250 days, not just on the 450. So unfortunately, I don't think we can put Adam any higher than that right now, even though I'd like to. Like I said, I've been rooting for him all along. I think he's a great guy. I love watching Adam uncut. So good luck, Adam. But I'm going to have to put you at 5th for now. All right. Coming in at number 4, I've got Aaron Plessinger. This is a guy that's been on a good trend the last couple of years. He got over that injury that he had 3 years ago, which was really gnarly. If you watch the interview he did with, I think it was Gypsy Tales podcast, he showed some pictures of his foot injury and just like his ankle was rotting away down to the bone. It got all infected and it was pretty messed up. So I kind of thought he was just going to be a 450 bust. I didn't realize how bad that injury was. Then once he got over that injury, he's really just been marching forward, moving along. Last year, when Star Yamaha took over the 450 division from Factory Yamaha, he did a lot better. Got close to a win. Led over half a race at one point, and really looked a lot stronger. Looked stronger outdoors as well. So I think they were willing to let him do what he wanted to with the bike a little bit more than the Factory Yamaha team. And from what I understand, the new team he's on at KTM is a little bit the same way. They're going to do whatever they can to make him feel comfortable. If he wants to try some different setup things and do something that they might consider a little bit weird, I think they're still going to let him do it. Which Factory Yamaha, from what I've heard, was not doing. They were pretty much like, this is how we designed the bike to work. You need to ride it this way. I think that's why him and Barcia did so bad on that team for a while. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Obviously, KTM is a phenomenal team. Roger DeCoster definitely knows what he's doing. Ian Harrison, the team manager, seems like he gives all of his riders anything they need. So I think Plessinger is going to be in a really good spot. Plus, he's working with Alden Baker right now. And I personally think that Alden Baker is underestimated for what he does for guys mentally and building up their confidence. Everybody knows how to train nowadays. All the pro guys have a trainer. They all have a program. If they stick to it, they're all going to be healthy and fit. Some guys might be a little bit better than others when it comes to training, but they're all fit. The top 10 guys are all going to be there as far as being in shape goes. But the reason Alden Baker wins so much, I think, personally, is because of the mental side of the game. I think he gets guys' confidence up. I think he encourages them to be a little bit more aggressive. I think he helps them during the week work on their weak points. I think he's a little bit of a taskmaster with their weak points when they're training during the week. If they screw something up on the weekend, he's like, you're going to go practice that all week, and it's never going to be, your weakness again. You can see how much better that Cooper Webb's done in the whoops over the last few seasons. He's got consistently better, and I think that Aldon Baker's been making him work on that a lot. Obviously, Webb works on it on his own too. He knows he needs to work on it, but I just think that that's kind of an underappreciated part of Aldon Baker's game and what he brings to the table. So I think that Aaron Plessinger is going to benefit from that a lot. So that middle three, they all have their what ifs as well. If AC learns to keep it on two wheels, stays consistent all year, and doesn't get hurt, I think he's got the talent to win some races and contend for the championship. If Plessinger, really excels with Aldon Baker's training program and gels with that KTM, same thing. I think he's on track to get a win. As long as switching teams doesn't set him back at all, even if it's just a lateral move, and he kind of picks up where he left off last year, even if he doesn't advance beyond where he was last year, I think he's still on track to get a win this year. I actually think that three of the guys in my bottom four, Muscan, Anderson, and Sexton, could, like I said, they're what if guys, and I think they could actually leapfrog these three guys if any of them get their what if. If Sexton matures enough, keeps it on two wheels, stays in it mentally all 17 rounds. If Muscan is feeling healthy and is focused on Supercross only and isn't getting burnt out, his fitness is there, all of those things from the beginning of the season right on through. And Jason Anderson too, if he puts in the work, he's a talented guy, he can definitely win races. So those three, even though I have them in my bottom four, I think they could actually leapfrog this middle three. But based on the way things have gone the last few years, I think these three are probably more likely to get closer to their potential than those other guys are. So that's why I put them where I put them. All right, so moving on to the top three. Coming in at number 3, I've got Ken Roczen. Roczen's another guy that's a little bit tough to place. He's got all the potential in the world. Awesome to watch ride a dirt bike. He is so smooth, so technical. I love watching him ride. I just don't know what's up with his health. I don't think anybody does. I don't even think he knows what's been up with his health for sure the last few years. So he gets off to these great starts, builds up a points lead, and then just fades as the year goes on. Can't train during the week. Whether it's Epstein-Barr or Lyme disease or mono, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what the deal is health-wise. But there's clearly some sort of an issue with him health-wise. There has been for the last few years. So he's another one of those guys that clearly has the talent to win it all. But the last several years, he just hasn't been able physically to stay at his peak all season long. I hope he can. I feel terrible for the guy that's going to be his legacy. I want him to be able to break that. Because it's kind of sad, he should have a 450 championship. He deserves it. He's good enough. And whatever's going on with his body has just held him up and kind of let him down. So, all right. In second place, I am putting... This was tough. This is a difficult choice because it's going to tell you exactly who I have as number 1. Anyways, Cooper Webb. I got Cooper Webb, number 2. I could easily see Cooper Webb winning again. He has the best racecraft of anyone in the field, bar none. It's like he has eyes in the back of his head. He knows where guys are going to try to pass him. And when he's trying to pass somebody else, he sets it up sometimes like a lap, 2 laps in advance. He'll set a guy up for a pass that he knows he's going to make a lap or 2 later. He's a little bulldog. He's not going to give up. He's not going to quit. He's going to be in it at the end of every single moto. He's not going to get tired. He's not going to fade. When the tracks get rough, that's when he seems to do his best work. And that's a good recipe for a champion. just like I said, this was a really tough call. I'm almost talking myself into moving him up to number 1, but I'll leave him at number 2, but almost begrudgingly. He's got a really good chance at number 1. The only reason I'm going to put him at number 2 is that he's changing programs. He's leaving Eldon Baker, and I don't know how big of a deal that's going to be. Maybe it won't. He knows how to work out. He knows how to train. He's been doing it for several years with Eldon Baker, so it's not like he's just going to forget how to get in shape. He's still going to be in shape. It's just like I said earlier, I think Eldon Baker gets overlooked for some of his mental strategizing and getting guys prepared mentally for races, and that's been one of Cooper's strong points. I don't know if that's got anything to do with Eldon Baker or not. I think he had that before he started working with Eldon Baker. But I think just the confidence and keeping guys in the right mindset, I think Eldon Baker's really good at that. Cooper Webb's always had that, that pit bull dogfight mentality. I think he'd probably run over his mother to get a win. Maybe doesn't say the best about him as a person, but I think that's the kind of guy he is, and that's why he's got a couple championships already. So yeah, I'm gonna leave him at number 2, but yeah, I could easily see him getting another title. Number 1, obviously you've probably figured it out at this point, Eli Tomac. It's a bit of a risky decision putting Tomac 1. I think Cooper Webb's probably the safer choice. I'm going a little bit with my gut here. I think Eli Tomac is really ticked off, to be honest with you. I think he's got something to prove. I think that's why he went to this team. He specifically negotiated in his contract that he got to do what he wants with his suspension, and he has his own suspension guy coming over with him. So that kind of tells you what Star Yamaha is willing to do for Tomac. And if he is as irritated as I think he is with people thinking that he can't win it again, then I think it's going to be a tough combination to beat. He's got more power from what everybody says on the Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha. Maybe that'll help his starts. He's kind of like Ferrandis. That's always been his Achilles heel as well. He has been able to overcome it at times, but it's also really bitten him in the where a couple times too. So that's going to be interesting to see if that Yamaha gets him off to better starts. The only big question mark I see with Tomac putting him at number 1 is that he had 2 kids, and having kids is amazing. I love being a father, and I think he loves being a father too, from what I've seen of him. But it definitely changes your focus a little bit, changes your mindset a little bit. And I don't know if maybe he's lost a little bit of that killer instinct. Maybe winning races isn't the most important thing in the world to him. So that's kind of my what if with Eli Tomac. On the one hand, I see this change to Star Yamaha kind of really, he's a guy that shouldn't have a chip on his shoulder, but I feel like he does because of this move. I think he put a big chip on his shoulder when he moved to Star Yamaha and wants to prove to everybody that he can still win and that it was the right decision. And then on the other hand, I see the family. He's got plenty of money. He's got a beautiful ranch in Colorado that he can go back to when he retires. So it's like, which one of those things is going to weigh out when it's Wednesday afternoon and it's hot out and you're training and you maybe should do a few more laps or practice a few more starts or try a few more settings on your suspension. Is he going to do that, or is he going to want to go spend time with his family? And honestly, I don't begrudge him one bit either way, and I'm not trying to shame him for being a father. Like I said, being a father's the greatest thing in the world, so I don't blame him one bit. But when we're making predictions for Supercross, it does have an effect. So in my bonus rider, I've got Dylan Ferrandis. This guy's been incredible, in my opinion. His rookie year, he was lights out. Wasn't intimidated, especially going to the outdoors. He wasn't intimidated by any of those guys, Roczen, Tomac, Webb, anybody. He didn't care. He was just going racing. I think at the beginning, of the Supercross season, he was a little bit intimidated and probably could have done a little bit better last year in Supercross, to be honest. But I don't think that's going to be the case this year. He's got Tomac coming over to his team. He wants to stay the number one guy on that team. He wants to be the man in that truck. I think that's going to keep him motivated. I think he's going to be working his butt off to stay that number one guy. And with Dylan Ferrandis, it really just comes down to starts. In the 250 class, he was able to get bad starts and work his way through the pack. But this 450 class is so deep, it's just not likely to happen. And I know he put it on the ground a few times, but that was really just from the bad starts. The bad starts have been his Achilles heel. They were in his 250 career. Like I said, he was able to overcome that with raw speed. They have been in his 450 career, and in Supercross at least, in his rookie season in Supercross, he just wasn't able to overcome that. And he did improve his starts in motocross a little bit. Still wasn't a great starter, but he did do better. So that's a step in the right direction for him. And I think if he gets his starts nailed, he's gonna be, honestly, he's probably gonna contend for the championship if he can get his starts nailed. So we've got that top three with a bonus rider, so it's really a top four competing for the top three. And I know some people are going to say that that's a little bit of a cop-out. Maybe you're right. Probably is. But we've got COVID now. And odds are, if you look at the NBA, the NFL, NHL, Formula One, NASCAR, I mean, COVID has affected like every major sport that there is. So far, it hasn't really messed with Supercross much. Any riders, I know they shut down the 2020 season and everything and then did the residency at Salt Lake. But other than that, it hasn't really, affected any riders too significantly. But odds are it's going to bite somebody when you add that to the potential of injury. One of those top four guys is probably going to miss a round, if not multiple rounds. So yes, I have four guys in the top three, but that's why. I think, unfortunately, don't want to see it happen. I hope they can all just keep racing and be competitive all year long. But odds are one of them is going to miss one or two races. And that's going to shift things around, move things around a little bit. So that's why I've got four guys in my top three. One thing you hear people say all the time is, hashtag deep field. There's so many guys that can win. And, I just gave you 11 riders, and all of them could potentially win. They're all talented enough to win. A couple of them are going to win. Eli, Cooper Webb, and Roczen have combined to win 84% of the races the last 3 seasons. So, that those guys are probably going to get some wins. It's just a matter of whether those other guys are going to be able to break in to that trio. You got some young guys. Ferrandis isn't super young because he raced in Europe for a while, but still, new to the 450 class. It's only his second year. AC, Sexton, Plessinger, his fourth year. Not a new guy, but struggled with injuries, kind of getting it together in the 450 class. So there's a lot of younger guys that could definitely break in to that top three and disrupt that winning run that those three have had. But with that being said, statistically over the past 15 years, I think the most winners there's ever been in a season is 6. And most of those years, only 4 guys won. Eli, Barcia winning the opener, Cooper Webb, and Roczen. That's been it. The last couple years, Muscan added a 5th guy to that. But typically you don't see 10 winners at the end of the season, even though there are 11 guys that could potentially win. Certainly 10 guys that could potentially win at the very least. But, yeah, we're probably just not going to see that. So a lot of people kind of take that as, well, maybe the field's not as deep. Everybody thinks it's a deep field every year, and then there's only 3 or 4 winners. But here's the thing about a deep field. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be deep at the top, where there's going to be 10 winners. There might only be 3 winners at the top. But the fact that it's deep below there can still have a massive impact on the championship. Because if one of those guys goes down in the first turn, or just gets bad starts, and they've got to fight through that deep field, the odds of them getting to the front are dramatically less with a deep field. So, yes, we're not going to get 10 winners, but it could also play into things if, especially Tomac and Ferrandis, if they can't get their starts dialed in, that's going to make it a lot tougher on them. If all these guys can stay healthy that I've just named, they're going to have a really hard time fighting back from 12th or 15th place. So that could definitely have an impact on the championship. And at the same time, somebody like Sexton or Cinzarillo, those guys are both typically really good at starts. Barcia's decent at starts usually. If those guys get into a lead and the three, big shots, Webb and Roczen and Tomac, get buried in the first corner and they can build up a decent lead before those other guys can get through the pack, that could definitely get them a win or two, any of those guys. So it is a deep field. It is going to be exciting, even though we're probably not going to have 10 winners at the end of the year. It's going to be an epic season, and I can't wait. All right, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. That helps out a lot. If you like this content, go ahead and give it a like and hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a video. I am definitely pumped about this Supercross season. I hope you are too. I'm going to try and keep making videos all season long, talk about all the crazy things that happen, and hopefully you guys can comment. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Am I crazy? How stupid do you think I am for putting Chase Sexton where I put him? Yell at me all you want. I don't care. That's what it's all about. That's half the reason we enjoy sports, is for debating stuff like that, right? So go ahead and comment down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.